There you can, folks. Wild and Willie Wordsmith here, coming at you. WildandWillieWordsmith.com, Barbary Allen at WordPress.com. Um, Last post we talked about homeschooling quite a bit and being prepared for, oh crap, more than what's already hit us, which is scary. But I got to thinking about teachers and hearing about these guys talking about how not only do they want to open their states back up, but the president's really pushing to open the schools back up. And you got to wonder, man. I mean, is this really, have they decided that the virus hasn't quite killed enough people and they need to run the numbers up just a little higher? They really need the numbers down or up, you know? I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous because when we all know, those of us kids anyway, the children are the best vectors of disease there are. And if you want to really spread it out, get it to the kids in school. Okay? Sure, it's not killing the kids, but if the kids can carry it home, and spring vacations come or Christmas or summer, everybody's out of school anyway, but summertime's coming, maybe things loosen up and they get to go spend time with their grandparents and whatnot, and they can wipe out some more people. I mean, I don't get it. And here's another thing. All these motherfuckers talking about how, yeah, you know what, we closed it down, we did good, but I think it's time to open it back up. Time to get back to open it up. A lot of these same motherfuckers are the ones that when this first started out were talking about how all their children's teachers need to be fucking millionaires, right? Did you see those memes? Oh my God, my children, I can't believe teachers need to be paid so much more and blah, 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 because we're all trying to homeschool and it's crazy. And now we know how much it's worth to have our children taught. And it's insane. Okay, and we all agreed in the first at least couple of weeks of having to teach our own kids. Now again, I'm an exception. I was already homeschooling. I knew the value of teachers. I knew they should be paid more. Known it for a long time. That's preaching to the choir. A lot of people learned it firsthand how hard it is to teach their own damn children, and how much they would expect to be paid for what they're doing. Right? And it was fresh in our minds, and yet how quickly we forget because we want to reopen. And what do you want to reopen first? Why do you want to reopen? Because you want your kids out of your fucking hair. You're sick of your kids being at home. You want somebody else to teach them. And you're going to forget that you think teachers should be paid more. You're going to continue to wish, and maybe you'll send them some hopes and fucking prayers. But obviously, you really don't care about the teachers, not enough, because you want the kids out of your hair and back in the teacher's hair. Okay, let's never mind the fact that these teachers are potentially going to be killed by you or your children because they've all got pre-existing conditions. A lot of them are old. A lot of school districts are already having a retirement problem. You're going to have teachers who are going to say, well, I can't teach one-on-one anymore because I have emphysema or I have asthma and diabetes and I can't subject myself to all the kids. That could happen. It's going to happen. Okay? But here's the thing. We're talking about all this, but we're not going to release social distancing. We've made that pretty clear that we need to change social distancing, or social distancing needs to stay in effect. So we know we still need to have people 6 to 10 feet apart. Now, how do you do that with a classroom with 28 children? How do you do that? Are you really going to send our kids back to the teachers? What are the kids going to get taught when the teacher is spending their entire school day, the teacher is going to spend just keeping the kids from getting too close to each other. Never mind keeping them from stopping, never mind that under normal circumstances, they can't keep them from touching each other. Now you've got to keep them from even getting close to each other. And yet, no one's talking about, everybody's talking about sending the kids back to school. Nobody's talking about doubling the teacher's pay before they do it. Okay? Because the teachers now, they're not going to teach a damn thing. They're going to be the hall monitor in the classroom. They're going to spend their whole time walking up and down the fucking hallway like a nun with a ruler, slapping hands because people got within 6 fucking feet of each other. And how many kids are you going to have in the classroom? Everybody going to if you're going to keep it at 28 kids in the classroom, what are you going to do? Make them stand exactly 6 feet apart? No more desks, no more sitting in circles? Okay? You're going to make them teach in the goddamn gym so the kids can be far enough apart? Or are you going to have them teach 14 children, 10 children, so you can actually have the social distancing? That means you're going to have to hire a hell of a lot more teachers. Here's an idea. Maybe you're going to have to promote all those teachers' aides, okay, and have one main teacher and 2 teachers' aides teaching 3 classes of 10 students each. Huh? Ready to do that? Ready to give them all double the pay they're currently making to teach 10 children at a time? Because they're going to have the hall monitor. That's going to be most of their time. So unless you can put these kids, yeah, maybe 6 foot is the distance, but these are children. So you'd better opt for 10. Because otherwise you're going to have little Jimmy. You know the kid that used to go, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. You know that fucking kid? Now he's going to do it. Only he's going to be able to torment you from 5 feet away because it's closer than 6. And every time Jimmy does it towards Mary Lou and puts his hand within 3 feet of Mary Lou's fucking hair, the teacher's going to have to stop what they're doing and yell at Jimmy, and Jimmy's going to get his attention, and he's not going to get in trouble because he didn't actually touch somebody. He just happened to break their personal space for a little bit, and he'll get a warning, and nothing will be fucking taught that day because Jimmy will do it all goddamn day. And if you got 10 Jimmies in a 30 student class, nothing's getting done. One Jimmy's enough for a 10 student class. So you're going to have to double the teacher's pay, and you're going to have to give them classrooms of 10 or 12. And you're not ready to fucking do it. So quit talking about opening the schools up now or opening up the schools up in a month. You're fucking morons. You aren't going to be staffed up enough to open in September. You need to continue on remote learning until you can figure out a way to have 10 student classrooms. Okay? And my wife and I were talking about it just 4 months ago, before the pandemic. We were getting tired of homeschooling. It was getting rough. And, our oldest is about to be, he's 9 years old, and there's pretty soon he's going to be 3 kids with a full load because our youngest is about to turn 5. So it's hardcore, and it's time to get it. Now that all 3 of them can go to school, we were saying, well, maybe it's time to put them back in the schools so I can go back to working part-time, and we can have a little more income, and the kids will be in school, and we'll know they're getting their education. Well, that's out the fucking window now because we don't know they're going to get their education. Why? Because we know they're not going to knock it down to 10 student classes. We know that the teachers are going to be forced to hall monitor, or worse, we're going to have old school teachers, MAGA teachers, who are just going to not enforce the rules. You look here in Arizona, come on, they don't have school nurses on every campus. They got one school nurse for 3 campuses. They're going to have, who's going to be fucking doing the temperatures at every single school in the United States? Testing the temperature to see if they can actually come in the school building. Do you let them ride the bus all the way through? Or now do you have to train the bus driver to hold that damn thermometer out and decide whether Jimmy gets to get on the fucking bus or not? Okay? Now do you have to have a health worker on every bus to determine whether the children get to come to school? Are you ready for that? No, you're not ready for that. Okay? You're going to have school nurses in every fucking school. It's no longer an option. Arizona can't afford to do that right now. And they want to trip them. You got to add school nurses. You got to triple your teaching force. And you've probably got to have somebody with at least paramedic training so that they can run a fucking thermometer and pass a test that'll stand up in court showing that they did actually test that child, just in case the child brings the disease to the school and there's a lawsuit and blah, blah, blah. But you're going to have somebody with a medical training of some sort in the use of an electronic forehead type of thermometer just to let the kids on the bus on every fucking bus. Because it doesn't make sense, and don't be trying to cut fucking costs by just having one guy waiting and letting them off the bus that way and not letting them off the bus. What, now the driver's got to drive all the way back and dump the kids that didn't get to go to school because they had a fucking temperature? No, you don't let them on the bus in the first place. So the parent can retrieve them right now and not have to come to the school to get them. So you're going to have healthcare workers on every fucking bus. You can't be ready. You can't be ready next month. You can't be ready in September. You can't. So, all this crap about opening the schools back up, there's no way, even if you do, this idea we were thinking about going ahead and putting our kids back in public schools, no fucking way. There's no way. Okay? Because the reason we took them out was because they wanted to put our kids in a K through 12 school. I was like, I'm not exposing my kids to high schoolers. There's been guns on campus since we pulled our kids out of school. If our kids were at that school right now, they would have already been locked down twice for guns and at least once for bomb threats. So we'd already said we weren't sending our kids to that. We were getting ready to try and figure out a way to send them somewhere else because now we got a running vehicle again. We could have driven them. But, okay, no, Now we don't have to. Now it's not just we have to worry about kids in school shootings, but now kids are going to be going to a school where they're going through metal detectors, they're getting their temperature taken, and everybody's wearing fucking masks at school. No, no. If my kids want to go to jail sometime and be institutionalized, that's up to them when they're adults. But until this pandemic thing is completely done, or there's a completely radical change in education where, like I said, they get down to 10 teachers to a student, nurses on every campus, or 10 teachers to a student, sorry, 10 students to a teacher. Then we can talk about the kids going back to public school. Otherwise, nope, I bought language textbooks. My kids are coming out of this with 4 languages. And I'll just have to keep homeschooling because I'm trained for it, and apparently that's why I'm trained for being able to teach my kids. So, Wild and Willie Wordsmith, let's see, it is now May 1st? Is it the 1st? I think. I don't know, it's early in the morning. WildandWillieWordsmith.com, BarbaryAllen.wordpress.com. See you next time.